I am fascinated with haunted places. That's why I love exploring abandoned houses. So when I heard about a singer who performed at a Jinn wedding, I knew I needed to share the story with you guys. And now I am here with a super special guest who is gone Nabi telling us the story. So let's get right into it. All the way in southern Morocco, there was a young woman named Fatima, who was considered to be a rising star. Her singing was compared to the beautiful haunting melody of the Syrian nightingale. People would travel for miles to listen to her sing. She was especially popular at weddings and local festivals. One evening after a performance in Taraudant, a poor farmer who lived in the mountains approached her. He wanted her to perform at his daughter's wedding. The only catch was the wedding was deep in the mountain. It would take hours to get there and it was going to be very late. However, the farmer promised her that he would pay her 3 times her normal fee. Now Fatima really liked the sound of that, so she agreed to go. When she got to the farmer's house, she was surprised to see an old man standing there waiting for her. He wore a long jalaba that covered his entire body. The only thing showing was a pair of twinkling eyes. He kept his face hidden in the shadows of his hood. He greeted her and asked her to come with him. He brought her to a black car. The windows were heavily tinted and the driver was also dressed all in black. Without a word, the driver opened the door for her and she got in. As soon as she did, the car pulled away from the house and began winding through the narrow mountain roads. After a few hours, Fatima realized that she hadn't seen anyone else on the road. The bride and groom must have really lived deep in the mountains. Just as she was beginning to feel a little worried, the car suddenly stopped. The driver opened the door and got out and told her to follow him. He led her to a tall stone gate. 2 burly men stood guard. They wore the same long black jalaba as the driver and also had their faces covered. The only thing that she could see was their eyes. They glowed faintly in the darkness. She followed the driver through the gate and down a path. The only light came from a few flickering candles, making it hard to see anything around her. Finally, the path opened up to a large cave. There were golden drapes everywhere, along with some ancient rugs and some huge chandeliers. They were made out of animal bones and crystals. As she got closer, she saw dozens of people standing in front of the cave. All of them had their faces covered and their hands were folded in front of them. When she got closer, she noticed their hands didn't look quite right. Their fingers seemed to be too long and oddly jointed. Plus, they were freezing cold to the touch. Fatima tried to call out to someone, but no sound came out of her mouth. She felt a sudden push and found herself falling to her knees. She looked up and saw one of the men gesturing for her to go forward. She tried to stand up, but her legs felt heavy and unresponsive. She looked down and saw that her clothes had been ripped to shreds. Then she remembered the drugs the farmer had slipped into her tea. This wasn't a normal wedding. Something was terribly wrong. A woman then approached her. She wore a magnificent dress and a golden crown. Her eyes, however, were completely black and soulless. The woman motioned for Fatima to follow her. She walked up a stone staircase. At the top, she saw dozens of people kneeling. The cave echoed with whispers and murmurs, but no one paid any attention to her. The woman led her to the far end of the cave where there was a circular opening. It looked like a gateway to another dimension. An unnatural green glow emanated from within, and the air around it swirled and pulsed. As she watched in disbelief, the woman stepped through the portal, then vanished. Instinctively, Fatima reached out to grab the woman's arm, but her hand went straight through. The portal pulsed, and a deep voice boomed. "Who dares disturb the ceremony?" Fatima froze, then turned to flee, but it was too late. The portal flared with green light, and the voice boomed again. "So be it. Another soul to feed the feast." The portal began to suck her in, and she screamed as she was pulled toward it. She woke up lying on her side on a dirt road near Agadir. She was half naked and her throat was raw. She couldn't remember anything. She tried to stand up, but everything around her looked strange and unfamiliar. She looked down at her hands and saw that they were covered in blood. She looked around frantically, but there was no sign of the wedding party or the portal. She called out to them, but only her own voice answered. Days turned into weeks, and Fatima slowly regained her strength. When she returned home, she was never the same. Her family said that she wasn't the same person. She spent most of her days in bed, wrapped in blankets, refusing to speak or eat. Every time someone entered the room, she would scream in terror. Her family took her to many healers, but none of them could help her. One old imam said that she had performed for the Jinn. Now they were trying to drag her back. Some of the villagers even said that she had been possessed during the ceremony. To this day, Fatima lives in a remote village in the mountains. She spends her days weaving baskets and carpets. She's always accompanied by her younger sister, who cares for her around the clock. Despite living a simple life, Fatima remains traumatized. Every night, at exactly midnight, she can still hear the Jinn calling her back to sing again. And some nights she still hears the eerie music and feels the presence of the Jinn. And that's the story. Thank you so much for listening. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. And do you and forget to like and subscribe, so you and miss out on any of my stories. And with that being said, I'll see you next time.